Hello everyone, it's me Mike from Speed Out and
Romina from Rocksi and Melodic.
we have a special guest today, is Ash from
Nargaroth.
So welcome, mister. So how do you feel here in Mexico?
I'm grateful to be here, so I feel good.
Mister, what about being here in Mexico in tour? How it's different from here in Mexico and European tours?
In the past, I would have said there's more passion and the people are like more forgiving for the shit you did in the past and they still appreciate your music. But I have to say that when I look at the Latin American scene over the last 3, 4, 5 years, it becomes very European. Besides that, you guys are swamped by insignificant European black metal bands. I have the feeling like we arrive at a hotel, there's another black metal band leaving, and when we are leaving, another black metal band is arriving. So for whatever reasons, it somewhat reflects on the people, is at least my experience. You see, when I was here in the past, people were appreciative and said, hey, they're here, that's cool. Now I see a lot of stupid comments and people have like big mouths and are disrespectful. I mean, I don't give a shit, I'm here anyway, and but I can see the type of arrogance and being not appreciative anymore that I have seen in Europe over the last 15 years. So you become European. So brace yourself for the next 5 years.
Yeah, I think it's very important what you mentioned because, for example, there is a community here in Aguascalientes that metal bands are disappearing because there's not a lot of support here for the metal music. We have the situation that we have grupero, banda, and some other music genres that are not very similar, are very traditional to the Mexican culture, but there are not so. The metal scene is like disappearing. So we are very glad that this band is here because we need more bands like you. We need support of the bands. And do you know any Mexican band of metal bands?
I do know some, and I know for a long time. I mean, I even wear I have a cross of a Mexican band, even though they supposedly don't exist anymore. Luciferian Rites, which kind of sucks. I like them. Satanic Rites are pretty good. And there's a lot of other Mexican bands. I mean, I even like Xibalba, even though I heard they don't like me, what kind of fucking sucks. Because I'm a big fan, but so be it. But you see, the problem is not so much that the metal is disappearing. You're just inviting the wrong fucking bands, including me. Why am I here? Why are you not supporting your own bands in Mexico? That is the problem I have here. And the thing is, I'm saying this since I'm here in 2015. I always said I'm grateful that I'm here. I love the energy. And I mean, it's nice when you make music and you see people like it. I mean, just imagine you bring out an album and nobody wants to listen. It kind of fucking sucks.
Yeah.
So that is beautiful. But at the same time, it is like you invite all these European bands, and some of these bands were useless in the 90s already, and you still invite them because they are overplayed in Europe. They pull maybe 50 people within the week, and then they come here and they play in front of 200, maybe 300 people, and they think they're relevant again. No, they're fucking not. So you have very good bands. You have some of your bands are closer to the raw black metal spirit than we have in Europe. Most of the European black metal bands, they are just some fucking kids, We have enough food. We don't really have war. We don't really have fucking problems. I mean, maybe we have a war with the Russians if this continues, but you know what I mean? European bands do not really have hardships, as I have seen in whole Latin America.
Okay. Yeah.
You know what I mean? So some of your bands are closer to the brutal war reality that black metal can reflect. But no, you're not supporting them.
Yeah.
And this freaking sucks. So
You're
I
right.
am grateful that I am here, but I freaking I don't belong here. There should be a Mexican band above me, actually. And this is what I would like to see. But at the same time, within the black metal scene, there's a lot of bands who bitch at each other instead of supporting each other. One of my guitarists is from Mexico, and I was told, hey, don't tell anybody because people start to bitch. I said, what the fuck is wrong here?
Yeah.
And that is wrong. And this has nothing to do with us Europeans. That is your issue here. And this should be addressed. Why you are not supporting each other's band? Why do you run, let's say, 300 people to some fucked up European band? Let's say even Nargaroth. Why? and there's 20 people going to a Mexican band show. That's wrong. And that has always been wrong. Just saying. Even like when I was listening to Satanic Rites, I was surprised how modern they sounded. And but it shows the potential that Latin American bands, not just Mexican bands, actually have. There's a lot of other bands. I haven't prepared well. I have several CDs that I get on my tours that I was listening to, and then I write back to these people and I tell them what I think about it. I cannot memorize them all, but it doesn't mean that I don't know them.
Okay.
And I like Chibalba even though they don't like me back, and I don't give a fuck. They're still good.
Yeah, how Nargaroth has changed over the years.
I'm 51.
Yeah.
You know, I got older. Did Nargaroth change? Sometimes I shut up instead of saying what I think, because I know it's not always good to say what you think. You know what I mean? Especially with the opinions that I have. But at the same time, it bugs me when I cannot say what I think, and that pisses me off as well, because then I start to become fake. You see, like everybody say, oh yeah, I want to be a black metal musician, I want to get famous and all that crap, right?
Yeah.
The moment you get famous, you're not free anymore. Not really. Especially when your livelihood is the music, and gladly mine is not. I work for a living, you know. I'm not a damn asshole and live off the music. It's a night side bread. That's cool. But I have jobs. But all these bands who live of it, they have to be somewhat be careful, because you become a slave of the people, because you still need that they fucking pay for you, that you get the money. And if you have some unpopular opinions, you are screwed. So nope. That's not cool, and that's why I sometimes just shut up a little bit. But at the same time, it bugs me, because it's not really what I think black metal should be. But who the fuck am I to say what black metal is?
Okay, before Nargaroth, what were you doing with your life, Ash?
Before Nargaroth, Jesus, I was a teenager. You're asking that, or what I'm doing aside of Nargaroth?
Your profession before?
Besides, so I'm a psychologist. I have a master's in psychology, and I worked as a psychologist, but I also worked in other lines of work. When I moved to America, I had some blue-collar jobs where I was spraying herbicides for an electric company, so that the vines are not growing in the power lines. I did this job. I became facility manager for detention center for juveniles. I worked for the sheriff's office as a mental health coordinator, and I was a truck driver. So that's my last job was still a psychologist, though. So,
What has been your best experience on Mexico giving a show?
I like getting gifts, but it's not the best experience. I think when there's a signing session and some people just hugged me, it's not just this. It was even like 10 years ago. Just hugged me or something. That was nice. So I'm not really a big fan of closure, you know, but that was nice.
Yeah, it's okay. Do you like Mexican food?
Yeah, I like taco al pastor.
Tacos al pastor. Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
I really
delicious.
like that. And I like street tacos, but as a European, if you eat it for weeks, you sometimes crave gringo food. So
Okay. Like McDonald's.
sometimes just a burger or whatever, you know,
okay, it's
something other than your traditional food. And it's not kind of bashing your food. It's just when you're not used to it, you sometimes want your old like spice palette back.
What are the plans for Nargaroth, mister?
In June this year, I will release my new album. That's a plan. So there has to be a European tour. There's some ideas about an American tour, maybe even an Asian tour in Australia. But this is all in planning. Planning doesn't mean that it's, you know, set in stone. These are just some ideas.
When you were a kid, did you dream with this?
Well, when you're asking if I, as a kid, had, I don't know, like a broom in my hand, playing guitar in front of the radio, yeah, that's what I did. But I didn't do it to metal. It was just normal radio songs. But no, I did not ever dreamed nor think of me becoming this type of famous. When I started with Nargaroth, I thought, okay, I will sell 500 CDs each album, do some local shows in Germany, and that I was fine with, because this was my ideal scenario for black metal, staying underground, very underground, and stay there. but that it would become that type of huge, I call it huge. I never dreamed of it. I am grateful on one side and I curse it on the other because, you know, like I can travel, I can experience things that a lot of people might not be able to experience. But on the other hand, it has an impact on my life in good and in bad. So that I would say it's a curse and a blessing at the same time.
So, what can you suggest or recommend to the new fans or the new people that it's knowing Nargaroth?
Well, when you hear from me, you probably hear because of a scandal, because I did something stupid. Try to look beyond that. Start to listen to the albums, read about the albums, try to get familiar with what Nargaroth is. Avoid the internet, avoid Wikipedia. That's just full of garbage. Try to familiarize yourself with my music, with my lyrics. They're usually well translated in the internet. So that don't like it just because of how it sounds. Like it because you can somehow relate to it. Yeah, that's what I would say.
What is your inspiration? How do you inspire yourself to compose, to create your music?
Well, that's not a secret. So it's just my life. So in the beginning, when I started music, you know, just had some nature topics, some satanic, some war topics, you know, so some juvenile stuff. But then over time, I found out that when I write songs or lyrics that reflect what happened to me in my life, my failures, my successes, my struggles, and how I overcame it, that would work best for me to see that my music is somewhat valuable to myself. And there are some things that I do not understand well when they happen, and I just suffer through it, and I do a lot of crap. But then when I'm a little bit sober, like mentally sober, I can write lyrics, and then I try in retrospective understand what happened, and so it makes sense to me. So the inspiration are the fuck-ups and the blessings of my life.
What do you think about the IA, the artificial intelligence? Do you think it can help to create music, or we should let like the natural inspiration be the one?
Well, it depends on how you want to look at it. There will be a part in the whole music business where it can help some people without talent to create artificial songs and make money. That's a fact. It's already happened.
Yeah.
You know, is it genuinely creative? I don't know. Honestly, I do not know. I think it's crap. But I also think eating fish is crap. So, you know what I mean? It doesn't really matter what I think. So, yeah, I think there are people that can benefit from it, or AI might help in other areas of our daily life. But within music, I don't think it's a good idea. I mean, it can help you. You know, when you're a big band, you can pay for a guy who make you a nice, whatever, backdrop video. If you're a small band, yes, AI can help you to create some cool images. You know, and that's fine, I guess. But I don't want to be a judge of that yet. I will be judgmental later.
And what do you do when you are not on tour? When you're not recording, do you spend time with the family, or do you try to fish, or I don't know, do you have any other hobby that it's besides music?
Well, I have some hobbies, even though lately I didn't really have the time for it. You know, I like go hunting and stuff like that, like raising livestock and cattle, and have my own homestead. But that didn't work out in the last year. But I of course, I spend time on private life and have a little boring life like it should be, you know. And I go to work and hate my job. You know, like what? I don't know. Do you go to work?
Yeah.
What do you work?
Yeah, I am a teacher. Yeah, I work
Nice.
with students, university students. And
All right. Do you work?
Yeah, at Rocksi.
What's that?
It's
The venue.
the venue.
Yeah, the venue, yeah.
So, just like you have your little busy life, you know, you go to work in the morning, you come back home sometimes late, and sometimes it's cool, and sometimes you hate to come, you know. It's just, there's nothing special about it yet.
Well, Mr. Ash, thank you so much for the interview.
Okay.
We appreciate so much that you are here. Let's be ready for the show. Now, you are going there now? Are you going to the
Yes.
hotel, or you're going
Yes, no, we're going there right now.
Perfect. So remember, go to Rocksi now. The show starts at 11 p.m. So thank you so much for this interview. This is Romina. Thank you, Mr. Ash. And this is Mike.
Thank you to Distortion Studios, to Noah, Claudio from Movagency, Rocksi, and Melodic too. Mike, thank you so much for your support.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
Thank you.